in there. All right, we can close that one. FPX versus IG Game 1. So, let's get on top of this. There's going to be a lot of questions about China as a region. I think those are understandable. Let's put the scene up there. So, here we go. We are sitting there at the pause screen here. But I want to talk over a couple of things. Because China as a region is one that is quite misunderstood. So we should definitely understand something. That's LCK. That's not China at all. But LPL. So we had this up earlier. This, of course, will show you what's going on in terms of picked and banned champions in China. I should zoom in. I know people have been asking for that. I think control up and down works with that. How do I zoom? This is me being like, how do I use a computer? Okay, 150% text. So this is the LPL in 2019 presence rate and win rate. And the one that we were the most amazed by was Zoe. Zoe is an 80% win rate in China as compared to other regions where it's lower. So Zoe is super high contest rate in the LPL. And this is on patch 9.2. So guys, if you're not aware of the LPL, it has not gone past 9.2 at all. Started at 9.1, started 9.2, and then only 9.2 for weeks and weeks. So this is actually when Zoe should have more lane counters. Like Aurelia, for example, really strong against Zoe. Flex Assassins, Akali can get through the matchup as well. And yet Zoe has an 80% win rate. So Zoe popping off and then some in China. Looking over some of the priorities here. Cassiopeia win rate pretty low, but pick rate also pretty low. Kind of similar to the LCK. We'll see if there's any other surprising ones. There's Rakan at 80%. Now, Rakan has been nerfed on patch 9.2, so not quite as superpowered fast, but still kind of a pretty stunning stat to have 28 games played there. When it comes to best teams in China, FunPlus Phoenix enters this series against IG 6-0. I believe this was to go 7-0, so they are undefeated. We should, I guess, do some Googling and understand their lineups and things like that, but we can talk about it in-game as well. But basically, it's another Doinby lineup. Doinby is the big star here, the mid laner. He's someone who right now I'm willing to give a pretty big title for as we load up the picks and bans here. I actually strongly believe that Doinby is the best player to never make it to Worlds. For a long, long time, that was ambition when it came to active players until 2016. And from there, kind of every player has made it to Worlds when it comes to active players. There's someone like Captain Jack missed out, and that's a pretty big loss. He'll probably hope that he keeps doing a good job on the analyst desk because he might be analyzing Worlds, given that he is one of the Korean analysts right now. But I do believe that the best player to never make Worlds is Doinby, and I think he is in a good spot to get there.
Into picks bans. This is what happened.
All right, let's look over the picks and bans here. So, patch 9.2, they're joining the series, I think, mid-games, or at least the series started earlier and they're being rewinded. So, let's look at the bans here. Remember again 9.2, that's why you see Akali and Aurelia. I'm assuming we're going from left to right. So because of that, we're looking at the draft here. FPX first pick Lissandra on patch 9.2. Aatrox Galio, pretty standard. Remember, Aatrox nerfs are not in on this patch. And the Galio could have been mid lane, but it's going to be a support Galio. Kai'Sa Alistar. Now, if you're an FPX fan, this first round makes you really happy. And the reason why I say that is something that I can illustrate. If we load up some teams, I prepared this earlier. FunPlus Phoenix stats. LWX, really loving his Kai'Sa. Really big Kai'Sa player. And it's one of those things I want to bring up where you can learn quite a bit from the game metrics page here. So the Games of Legends page, I should say. Game metrics is the PC Bun rankings. But the Games of Legends page here is actually really important. FunPlus Phoenix, they've won a lot. Spoilers, they win this series. Again, it's not about who wins, it's about understanding why. If you look at the most played here on patch 9.2, you will notice Doinby plays, and you should know this from before, he plays a lot of Ryze, a lot of Lissandra, a lot of Urgot. He plays a lot of tank mid laners. So Doinby's identity is very much to be a pressure valve for his team. Like, he's a very good leader as a person. He's a very good at initiating. And so he largely plays a lot of frontline tanks. And Kled, of course, an engaged champ that he plays as well. So if you look at the identity, like, let's just play the game of, okay, I know nothing about FPX. What do they play? Let's just look at their most played champions. Urgot, Lissandra. All right, well, we're, SK Telecom T1 during the Casper Cup here. Gragas jungle. Kai'Sa AD carry, Alistar support. What sort of a comp is that? That is a team fighting comp that they like to play. They don't have any siege in that comp. No Zoes in this game. If you notice this, he actually hasn't played Zoe. And one of their most banned is Zoe. But he's not a Zoe player. So Doinby starts the fight with his go button with some tanky champion or a Kled ultimate, and they team fight very, very well. They skirmish very well in a comp like this. Like, these are strong lanes for Gragas, Jarvan, Zinja to gank. Urgot has a lot of gank assist with ult. Lissandra has multiple CCs. Alistar's hard card control. They have a lot of CC in lanes. And so when Doinby decides to go somewhere, or Tian, then things are going to happen. And they're very good at making things happen and running away with games from that and making a win. They actually remind me a little bit of a better sandbox. Like, I think they're pretty damn good as a team, and this is without them necessarily playing that many flex assassins. Like, won a Kali game, no Aurelia games at all. So this feels like a champ pool that is largely inoculated if they can recreate Gimgoon's Urgot performances. Now, to note, Gimgoon is a Korean player, so Gimgoon and Doinby Korean players. Tian, LWX, and Crisp are Chinese players, so mixed language roster. But Doinby speaks fluent Mandarin Chinese, and I imagine at this point Gimgoon's decent. Crisp was formerly known as Pinus. Yes, the LPL casters did have to talk about Pinus and all the other jokes you could imagine could be made with that. So he changed his name to Crisp eventually. Shout out to Riot China for that one. That would have been a tricky one to deal with. It was Pinus, Pinus. It's very hard to pronounce it in a different way. So yeah, you kind of have to deal with what you got to deal with in the LPL. LWX, the WX is Wei Xiao. There's been obviously Xiao Wei Xiao and the original Wei Xiao, who a lot of our viewers who watch today don't know anything about other than just by whispers. Was maybe at one point the greatest player in the world in Season 2. LWX, and from what I know, this is a reference to that. What else to say about this team? So Gimgoon, Korean player, played on KT and kind of bounced around the scene without ever being very well known in Korea. Like, if not for the resurgence of someone like Khan in the last couple of years, when he was in LPL and LSPL, like, Gimgoon was like a slightly more successful Khan because Khan couldn't get a starter in the LPL, and Gimgoon kind of always was around LPL starting. Gimgoon's done a lot of really good innovative stuff. For example, the Trinity Force Sunfire Cape Malphite build that got a victory for Keen in spring of last year playoffs. That was stolen from Gimgoon over in China, as he was the first Malphite I've seen who was just solo killing Camille in a 1v1. Yes, the build. Excuse me. Yes, the build's been around for a while, but the solo killing Malphite, solo killing a Camille was a new thing. But again, they like what they like. They're definitely creatures of habit here. You can tell because all of them, barring support, is huge drop off to second most played. Double. Renekton is, I guess, close, but double in the mid lane as well. But Doinby has a lot of one-offs because he can play the crazy stuff as well. They are a really intriguing team, and it's definitely the sort of team that's underappreciated in the West. And the fact they beat IG makes that pretty damn hype. Their opponents today, it's IG, We'll throw them up there. You guys know their names. Their names are very well known. So we'll see what the Duke and the Shy starting lineup is when it comes to this game. Ning was on a huge stretch of MVPs at the start of the season. He won 5 in a row, beating Tarzan, who won 4 in a row. Now, worth noting that, again, we can talk about this because, hooray, it's not about who won and lost this series. IG have not had their unbelievable run that they did in 2018. In 2018, they lost 2 best-of-3s in the regular season the whole year. It might have been 3, but I'm pretty sure it was 2. As you can see, IG lost to JDG, which was a big upset at the time. JDG's been looking okay since then. Lost to LGD, which obviously is a massive upset. They're right down the bottom of the table. And then went on to lose to FunPlus Phoenix. So IG is testing their limits, and it's why when someone asked about the Griffin, who's the most underrated and overrated team coming into MSI, I was of the opinion that Griffin is overrated because I don't think they've looked that great since 9.1. And IG is underrated because they're kind of fiestaing around and people will look at other teams to take them down, and they have been able to be taken down 3 times. But I give them the benefit of the doubt because of how they were able to put things together when it comes to Worlds and the fact they could level their play up there. And they're definitely playing fast and loose. The LPL, again, this season is a lot of brawling and fighting. And I like to think it's because people are just general disrespect and upset with the fact that it's still 9.2. But I guess future will tell us everything on that one. But IG, when it comes to champ pools, a lot more flexibility in terms of their champ pools. Again, we're no relevance talking about Urgot and stuff because Urgot's full power in this patch. This is where Urgot wasn't touched and everyone else touched a little bit. But yeah, Rookie still loves his Syndra. Zyra Khan most played bot lane, even though the Rakan nerfs are alive on this patch. So to get everyone's mind around this, IG, 2 match losses so far. FunPlus Phoenix came in undefeated. So strength of schedule was the only thing here. The Suning victory was kind of a surprise, but Suning's fallen away. The rest of the teams here are on the weaker side of the LPL. So just to give you an idea, I think IG in most people's minds would have come in favorites, but yeah, that's kind of the state of play. So we can zoom back in. FunPlus Phoenix, hard crowd control on a Kai'Sa. This would probably be his, I guess, 9th, 10th, or 11th game on Kai'Sa. Definitely a team comp, as Achilles has joined the chat. Definitely a team comp that is all about setting up the plasmas for the Kai'Sa to finish off. Like, even after the AP nurse, Kai'Sa passive is going to be a huge contributor here in terms of amount of damage output in a fight. Meanwhile, on the side of IG, just like our first series of the night, we got a Kindred draft going on. Overall last pick Kindred by Ning. So Syndra beats Lissandra in lane. That's good news for the IG comp because you can play around mid-priority here with the Kindred. Aatrox versus the Scion in the top lane. I think Aatrox on 9.2 is going to be fine there. Ezreal Galio is going to be a bit more 50-50. I think Galio has more lane presence than an Alistar in lane 2v2. So this is kind of the dream scenario of 3 strong lanes with a Kindred compared to 3 weak lanes with a Kindred, which is what we saw last time out. All right, Raz, shut up. Making you quieter. Jake, you don't get to talk either. Well, making you quieter. But that's kind of the gist we got here, is that IG are very much about this game ending at 25 minutes with Ning strong. Okay, it was a Kayn and not a Kindred. Raz also was angry about that. All right, cool.
I just love seeing a Kayn game.
Well, same story with the Kayn, except a bit more about the power farming, usually in the early game. Ning plays this one like just an ultra madman. Like, whenever I see Ning play Kayn, he kind of idiot savants his way to like 1 million kills in the early game. So he is someone to learn from for sure. Kayn is a champ where whenever I try to play it, I'm the worst at it. So I need to know how to be unleashed on Kayn. And we're going to learn about that through Ning, who's not playing Kindred.
First 2 weeks of the split, he got 4 MVPs in a row. He was running, and a lot of it was just off his game. So going back to Kayn, that's a competent kicker.
Ooh, close that up. Let's move that. Yep. All right, let's get to game number 1. Again, the lane assignments that we talked about are still relevant because the only wrong pick in the overlay was good old Kindred. Tian, level 2 gank? Oh no. Why would it be a level 2 gank, chat?
Very concerned about. We already went through one.
So there was actually a fail ward on that tri-brush, so they spotted him late. Ning started red into bot scuttle. I wonder why. It gets coverage for your bot lane, but do you really need it? Is the question I don't actually know the answer to. So that's interesting. Ning can kind of do whatever he wants. It should be noted. Like you love these drafts if you're Ning, where Syndra beats Lissandra, Aatrox should be at least fine against Sion, and bot lane should be probably slight advantage because of the Gallia. So whatever camps Ning wants, Ning is going to get. He also wants to brawl. Patch 9.2, Old Conqueror, getting the runes over here. I've copied these runes. Ning, interestingly, if you want to copy his Kayn, it's the first Kayn I ever saw go Qmax. He's a Qmax Kayn player. Usually we saw 3 points Q into W max, but he's all about killing those Raptors. So red Raptors, bot lane scuttle contest with the priority on the bot side. Really valuing the bot side scuttle, as we can see. So we're just zooming through this game. And your impression here is that IG want to run away with it, because I think 5v5 wise, FunPlus Phoenix have so many different types of engage. They can even threaten a Ezreal, who's that kind of hyper carry of mobility if you think about it. And this Kai'Sa, the threat as the game goes on is pretty minimal. Backline access is kind of Ning with Galio ult, which isn't great. And Doinby also is already out of lane. So we're watching him here. Decides to take turret shots. As far as we know, there's no visual bugs around that one. Classic Doinby. That is a very insanely early roam to make that play work. But shout out to him. Trying to find things. He's going to get a pause. All right. A pause. We'll leave Raz holding his arms here. Again, like not too much complicated analysis to make. You'll notice how different these games are, though, to our first FUN. If you watch the first series of the day, you'll notice, like, all these games are so fast, and the amount of roams you see is pretty insane. Now, that's the LPL to an extent, but it's Doinby as a bigger point. Like, Doinby is a super assertive roam player, who is always finding time to see his lanes in a good spot. And remember, let's do the analysis of, you know, we talked about how TSM had the impetus on them to make plays around the map and make them thick and fast, because otherwise, I mean, but they also had the invitation to, because they had winning lanes, right? And it's like, all right, yes, you could do things in the late game, but you have winning lanes. You should be able to get things uncontested, keep going. FunPlus Phoenix are in the opposite spot, where their lanes actually kind of suck. So roams are one of the ways to rewrite bad or good matchups, and that's why making map plays here for FPX is so important. Speaking of map plays, Hex Flash already over the wall. You know that Ning wants to contest you at Rift Scuttle almost every time of the game, because Kayn uniquely deletes Rift Scuttle instantly and he puts 5 points into Q. But those are the common flare points here. It's just so much action. It's so different to cast LPL games. It feels sometimes like they're playing a different game to the rest of the world. So the Shy walks around, winning lane. Tian's movements are so important. JackeyLove went for a walk. Okay. I guess he's dead. Let's understand what happened here. JackeyLove went to ward, got instantly EQ'd. So that was a beautiful gank timing from Tian. Fortunate as well. There is so few... This doesn't feel like a big moment, but given the lane assignments here the teams have to deal with, the amount of times where you could chase for a kill down the river as Jarvan is so low. Like, it's so unlikely that you're going to find a kill chasing for a gank, but Tian is so on point. They must have communicated that JackeyLove had his ward. He was the only one with a ward available. Balan's ward, I imagine, was on cooldown. And then it's just the right time to walk up. That's the chance of the gank going off there in like a equilibrium state is 10%, 15%. It's JackeyLove with flash up. Instead, it's perfect timing and they get the kill. So that's awesome gank timing there in this particular case. It is patch 9.2 to confirm to people in chat. And that wasn't Doinby required, but Doinby's already skipped out of lane. Probably one of the reasons they A little bit down on CS, but it's a bad matchup for Lissandra. This is actually played probably most prominently by BDD against... No, BDD is the Syndra Malzahar, but you see Syndra Malzahar, Syndra Lissandra, similar matchups where in lane, you just outrange, and Lissandra has no threat onto you. You can take cleanse and still have kill pressure, so because of that, things really strong for Rookie. He's on a back timing now, though. Seemed like he was pretty greedy overstaying lane. He's actually staying as well. This is a really good roam by Crisp to be unleashed on the map, because with no mana from Rookie, you actually can't do anything. So they walk up. They might get a turret play in Lissandra versus Syndra. Let's see when he left lane. That's interesting to me. So at this point, Rookie has no mana. Alistar takes a good recall timing. He gets Moby Boots and goes mid. I don't think many Alistars do this, but this is a sick roam gank from the Alistar. He tells Doinby to stay in lane. Remember, mixed language communication, although possibly just Mandarin Chinese. And they keep Rookie in the lane as Crisp gets a turret plate here, or basically almost all of a turret plate. Really good back timing from a support. Comes over, able to threaten so Rookie can't just auto-attack him off, and yes, turret plate lives for now, but I really like this Alistar roam timing. Normally an Alistar's getting deep vision down or comboing with the jungler, but just going mid lane to open that up was really nice. So good job by Crisp. So mid lane's pushed. Rookie's on a full recall. Notice that Ning is YOLO fighting anyway. That's probably because Doinby is low on mana, so maybe you can excuse it. Ning plays that immaculately on the ult timing there. That was actually really clean by Ning. Kane fits him as a player so much because there's so many times where you look at Ning's pathing and you're like, why did you do that? Or how could you do that? And I think he just says, well, I'm a world champion, and gets away with it more often than not. So really nice collapse there by Ning. It worked out for him. That's what we can say. Gold lead is about 1,000. It should grow. Like, I think the gold lead expectation here is 3 to 5k, but we'll see if the Rift Herald actually ends up as a priority. But Rookie, again, still has huge lane control. He's gone Sorcerer's Shoes for solo kill potential. Bot side's gone way better than expected for Kai'Sa and Alistar, mainly because Crisp has gotten away with so many roams, and LWX hasn't even had to use Flash or Ultimate defensively. Again, reminder, game is on 9.2, so I'm just as frustrated with you guys. I really wanted to watch this series and then know, like, okay, I want to compare FPX 1-to-1 to TL, you know, C9, TSM, Griffin, G2, but harder to do that because it's patch 9.2. But seeing the roam gank here, good old Gimgur just randomly ulting through mid. If you look at where wave is topside, there's no opportunity cost, and we have to remember compared to LCS and LCK, so many more roam timings when it comes to LPL is my lane pushed? If so, I'm going to roam. It's not get deep vision. It's not a safety first. It's so often about, is there a chance to get a kill, and will I lose 2 waves to do so? And then just going for it. So it's just a different mindset to get into, but it certainly promotes more action. Chris spots Ning here. This is actually huge for the FPX side, but weird vision juking situation, and it allowed Balon to walk up. So IG have no control bot side. The Ezreal Arcane shifts, I believe, in vision into lane, and then they get out roamed here. So there's a big disconnect between what people want to do. Just consider this map state. Ning knows he's being swept, right? And FPX know he's there. So Galio's well on top of this. He's coming down for the roam, as you can see on the mini-map. But Jackie Love gives no mundos about this play. At this point, it's fine. At this point, he needs to be starting to walk over. Otherwise, they're going to be 5v3'd. Look at this map. Aatrox has no teleport, and Ezreal Arcane shifted in. That doesn't happen, and you watch the replay of what happens. They start to kite back, but there's just no way Rookie can do anything in this case. This is really good roam timing by FPX and IG not communicating as a 5. Like, it's 5v3, right? It looks really shoddy from IG. They're getting a turret plate topside. Again, Galio's aware of this. Both sides are aware. And at the end of the day, I feel like this should have been cleaner. In this case, Jackie Love doesn't even bother to ult. Like, I think you throw out the pity ultimate, right? But that's with a tempo draft, which I like to talk about IG. Like, they have a draft that's about Ning being the most aggressive person ever and backing him up at every corner because of how strong he is. He already has a very early transformation. 12 minutes is pretty good on the Rast. They just want to play around Rast pressure wherever possible. Syndra either kills Lissandra or pushes her in, goes in with Ning. Push in bot, go in with Ning. Gank mid with Ning is what we're going to see in this case. And what I want people to remember about this draft from FPX is they got the draft that looks like their Games of Legends page, right? Lots of CC, setting up the plasma for Kai'Sa. But while they can 2v2, I think because it's Kayn, the normal analysis of a comp like this kind of goes out the window, and FPX want to outnumber. They want a 4v4 or 5v5, and IG's really about skirmishing. 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. And skirmishing from ahead is what we're seeing for them. So nice move from them around the mid side, but they're going to give up a loss. They're going to lose the Infernal, which sounds like a lot, but actually, I don't think IG cares that much about Infernal in game number 1, purely because it's Sion topside, it's tank Jarvan, and you win this game in the mid game or you lose. So I think getting immediate gold and getting yourself to item breakpoints and getting, say, for example, a transformation on Ning is way more important than Infernal. Yes, you'd love an Infernal, but actually Infernal's not that important overall in this particular game as a win-loss button. So it's very rare that happens. I think in slower regions like LCS and LCK, that almost never happens. This is what's important. Ning going for fights, and damn is he aggressive, man. It's so fun to watch. Alright, we're going to see the 5v5 here. Ning is doing so much work in the front line as Rast. Rast is just a monster at the start of this fight. Now let's watch how the cleanup goes, though. Now, Rookie's still here. There you go. You're so baited to thinking that FPX win this game because of what this game looks like later. But it's not 2-item Kai'Sa. It's a lot of members building only tank stats, and it's Rast. Watch Ning in this fight. Let's watch the long version of it. Consider what Ning is able to do. Because it's all about Ning. Remember we said this is a Ning-focused draft. Let's watch it slower. Let's watch it in full speed. But let's focus on Ning. So Ning walks in, walks up to Tian and says, alright, you're out of the jungle. I want the blue buff. Then he sees Doinby and he's like, I'll brawl with you, whatever. Now they get blue buff control. He then brawls with Crisp. This is still one man in the front. He is zoning Jarvan and Doinby in the backside. Doesn't die, and only dies right at that point. Meanwhile, Rookie hasn't had to use any of his mana apart from the first round burst, and they can chase in. They will brawl better than IG because they don't have to worry about mana bars, and Ning can just brawl infinitely. He's Kayn. Kayn brawls forever. So this is smart from IG. They knew how strong the Kayn was. They knew their item timings were better at this point in the game. And then Ning just runs in there, just zoning and damaging aplenty at the start. And that's all they needed from him. That was really well played by IG. And this is the time to brawl. When you have a comp that brawls early or goes home fast. So, credit IG. I really like this play. It's so different because the analysis always comes across differently when it's LPL because there's so many more kills and because you have to adjust to there being a kill a minute, but it's why I thought China had a big advantage coming into Worlds last year. Is Vision was removed, you have to fight when one team decides we're fighting, but Korean teams were not fighting. IG is the team that will always fight, and LPL fights more, and between those two things, see entertaining games like this that make you wonder about the future. Now Ning just rushes in there alone. This is not the time, Ning. Whoops, on that one. Wait, did Ning actually steal the Rift Herald there? I guess it's worth then. Yeah, Ning got the Rift Herald, so actually suicide for the Rift Herald. In any other region, you're like, I don't know about that one. But yes, he got the Herald, so yeah. That's probably worth. Yeah, Raz I think was duped there by the... don't worry, we've all been there, Raz. It happens. So another tool that gets gold into the game for FPX has been removed. Now FPX going for more fanciful stuff. The map control is completely gone from them. They've just about rescued their blue side jungle. There's a lot of control towards top side. The Shy pushing out bot side. We're still 2 items or less in this game, so Kai'Sa is still barely a champion, and Jackie Love's actually way ahead. They can double down around their winning lanes and their invasion advantage, and there's no salvaging Jarvan versus Kayn. Kayn feasts on tank jungle. That's why he started as a Sejuani counterpick. That's when Ning first brought it out this season in 9.1. He's still good against Jarvan. EQ timings have to be pretty on point to actually EQ away from the ultimate, so 1200 goldie that feels bigger. 1000 goldie that feels bigger also between jungle and AD carry, just given item breakpoints here, means that IG wants to continue to be bold. They want to continue to dunk the enemy and then take a 20-minute Baron. You kind of have to close this game with a Baron at 25 minutes or earlier, otherwise you probably just lose. So that's a meaningful thing to remember. It's the enemy 5v5 is so strong, but FPX is stifled. Like, usually it's Doinbe's level 5 run like we saw coming off, and more gold being the game, and then this being the game state, and FPX is even or ahead, even though they only turn on now. Now it's 2-item Kai'Sa, but you're 5,000 gold down. And in a bloody game, you see it's LPL when there's been 15 kills, 7 to 8, but it's a 5 and a bit thousand gold. IG is so good at playing this style. And let's watch the defensive vision around Baron, which is going to be the most interesting thing to take away here. Because I think Baron post 20 minutes, the threat is... It's not outrageous from IG, but it's high, right? They have a lot of damage dealers. Even Galio can do a bit of damage to Baron. The Baron turn is super good because Kayn just all-ins and gets the Galio ult. And from there, the Shy can split a fight, as we saw at Worlds. So, zooming in on how this game plays out, FPX's main thing right now is to not lose Baron control and farm. They really want to get some farm and get to at least 2.5 items on their carries. That's when they'll be pretty confident they'll win 5v5s. But IG aren't going to allow that. And they have Kayn, who literally is the god of walking up and saying, I don't really care about your vision line. I'm Kayn. I'm pretty tanky. I can jump over walls. My flash is up soon. And I can brawl forever. So Kayn actually allows you to skip steps when it comes to this contesting. Speaking of skipping steps, it's a Doinbe TP, but he knows they don't have control of this area. If IG are more hesitant at pushing up, or if they only sent 2 members there, yes, Doinbe comes in for a flank. But one of those rare Doinbe TPs that doesn't work, that the flank doesn't actually get pulled off on. So IG roll up. They're dealing with Ezreal Syndra under turrets with very mid-range wave clear. They don't feel strong enough to engage because they haven't hit their item timings yet. This is actually really hard for FPX if IG are always foot on the accelerator. If we can pause this game and IG fully reset as a 5, that's probably a straight-up mistake. I come from a league where everyone takes turns full resetting as 5 for control wards. I actually think it's incorrect for a Kayn draft to ever fully reset because your map uptime as Kayn, Aatrox, Galio should be almost 1,000%. Well, we're going to see an attempt at an all-in here. How much can they actually draw? Oh my god! That was huge from the Syndra. Holy crap. Syndra just monstered this fight. Whoa. Okay, we gotta rewatch that one. Alright. No. Let's pause. We're watching this one slow. Rookie just fucking popped off. Let's watch that one. Alright. 0.75 speed. So Aatrox is splitting inside. Sion doesn't feel strong enough to contest him. He had to build some magic resist, blah, blah, blah. We already talked about the 5v5, right? Of Jarvan ult, Lissandra ult, Alistar headbutt Pulverize, and Kai'Sa to kill those dominoes. Jackie Love has no cleanse. Rookie's cleanse is up. This is a great time to engage 5v4 and delete one person. But their item timings are behind where they would want them to be. They don't have a golden. They're 5,000, 6,000 golden highs. Actually, 1.5 items. Watch the scat of the week here, though. It comes through. He first owes it out. Let's watch it again to fully appreciate it here. Okay.
Where are you going, son?
Alright. It looked like Rookie beasted this fight. Let's watch it. So as to start, it's just a lot of brawling in the front, right? So We're not seeing the value just yet. The fight continues. Ning doesn't die. And it's a 4-man scat of the week. Holy. So the first one misses. That was what I was focused on, right? First one here. They see Aatrox. He's going to take a long time. The teleport time is long. They dive in. Jarvan ult in the backline. Annoyingly, Sion can't get there. Kai'Sa wants to join. But already that didn't work, right? Kai'Sa needs a front line. She needs to fight behind a front line. Then her front line gets instantly destroyed by that scat of the week. That's just winning the game in a single button press. FBX, they pile in because they know they have a pile-in comp that Kai'Sa kills. But Sion and Jarvan are disconnected. There's no front line for LWX. And IG got enough gold in this game early enough. I'm guessing they're going to blow open the game from here. Awesome play there. Really awesome play. And I assume they just run away with the game from here. They got so many kills from this. That's just a rookie. That's the class of rookie. Being big there, and Tian and Gimgoon. Yeah, the timing window there is so tricky, but Jarvan, I guess, has the burden of execution here because Sion has to go, right? He's already committed to this. He hits the wall. I wonder if he hits the side wall. Is this just a mistake? Let's watch this again. Does he hit the side wall, or would he have drifted through this? Let's watch the Jarvan spot. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he would have drifted through. You can drift through the turret there and assume it's the wall. But the negative synergy there, you know, it feels like the Gragas Janna on the same team where you ult people in and ult them away at the same time. That means that Kai'Sa is completely out of position. Like, Kai'Sa as a champ is unique because she can always fly in when she wants to. She can fight front to back and then flip it on its head by diving into the back line with a shield. And yet, she dives and then can't do damage because her tank line has got negative synergy. So that was the absolute worst way that fight could go for FunPlus Phoenix. And it's 10,000 gold lead and they probably lose. So it's IG being uniquely good at playing tempo drafts. I think Sandbox is the best. We already compared FunPlus to Sandbox. I think it's also the similar case with the Kane kind of drafts here. We're watching this final replay. Now it's just a crazy gold lead, and Ning doesn't need to position. He can just be in the front line as Kane with Guardian Angel. But tempo drafts is something a lot of Korean teams have struggled at, and something I called for all of summer last year and didn't see. And then now we're seeing what IG does when things work. And this is after they did some pretty interesting stuff, right? Like, IG are not a brazenly clean team, but they blow you apart. It's been 23 kills, 16 of which are for IG, and they just straight up win the game at 26 minutes. I think definitely the takeaway here for a lot of fans, and even for the players, right? The takeaway is going to really be focused upon crap, like, why did we screw up that engage around the mid lane? And for sure, that was what made their loss quicker. You know, the game closes out faster because of that particular play. But IG had also managed the proactive gameplay that I think they are uniquely good at. Like, that ends up being a really snappy VOD, but IG, just like a Graves, for example, was playing around a Ning. They want to go in and brawl hard and close the game early. And they had good lanes for the Kane to play around in much the same way that the Kindred didn't have those lanes in the previous game. But the difference is less hesitancy and a super play on their side from rookies. So that was game number 1 of IG versus FunPlus Phoenix. There's still 2 more remaining games. It is a 3-game series. Faster VOD review there, but a pretty simple one. The game state is much more a reflection of fighting rather than vision lines because they're playing a faster series. So that means it closes out. So IG up 1 game.